In case studies, for example, you work on a particular case, on a particular, for example, subject or participant. For example, you work on one or two, uh, one, for example, participant or human being in order to check how he's learning something in a longitudinal study, for example. Or you may, for example, observe some classes, as I said, participant or non-participant observation. You go to classes for several sessions and observe how the teacher is using different methods. On the other hand, if you intend to discover whether there is any relationship between learners' IQ and their language proficiency, this is a topic, you know, learners' IQ, the relationship between learners' IQ and language proficiency. Is there any particular relationship or not? So it's clear that it is a quantitative one. So you may go for quantitative method for data collection and analysis. And in quantitative, that is a correlational one. In quantitative research methods also, they include experimental design, surveys, correlational studies. You may give, for example, some questionnaires to a series of students, to a group of students, in order to see what do they believe about particular construct or issue. Uh, and then compare that construct with the other issues, or find the correlation between two constructs, for example. Or in experimental designs, you may want to experiment, do a kind of experiment, teach something in order to see a particular method of teaching, for example, has got any effect on a group of students language learning or not. That would be an experimental one. Given the fact that the nature of your research problem will determine the type of research method to be used, it should be borne in mind that one's preference for a specific research methodology is another important factor in choosing one's research problem, right? So they are completely interrelated. Your research problem is related to your research methodology, as I said and talked about qualitative and quantitative research designs. After the problem has been identified, you're satisfied with it. It is time for formulating it in a way that lends itself well to systematic investigation, that is suitable for systematic investigation, right? That is matched with systematic investigation. You have to design it or arrange it in a way that can be analyzed systematically. How the participants are going to answer the question, how the data is going to be collected, what kind of tools are going to be used, right? That's why we say it should be systematic. Everything should be made clear. What kind of participants do you have? How old are they? How many of them do you have? Or how you're going to collect the data? You can state the problem in either declarative or question form. The questions of the research questions can be in the form of in the form of question form, or declarative, which means in the form of a statement. But normally they are in the form of questions, the research questions. You might, and most of the times you have to prepare research questions or hypotheses based on your research problem. I told you that all sections of a proposal or research are linked together completely. I mean, from the title to the end of your research, which is conclusion and discussion, all sections are linked together. So, prepare research questions or hypotheses based on your research problem. You cannot state a problem and write some research questions which are not related to that problem. Research questions or hypotheses are in fact more detailed, functional, and operationalized version of general research problem. All right, we do not have hypotheses in all types of uh, researches, but normally in confirmatory researches, in those kinds of researches in which we have normally statistical analysis, we should include the hypothesis also after research questions. This means that you have to use more precise and specific definition of variables stated in research questions or hypotheses. And also you have to have some operationalized definition of your variables in some in in the first section of your proposal. To sum up, the three steps explained and discussed so far include identifying an area of interest, searching and checking different sources to discover a topic, and stating and formulating a general topic in the form of a research problem. So these are three important steps, in order to identify your general area of interest, and then search and check through different literature and papers and articles in order to discover a topic, and after that state and formulate your research problem. Remember that your research problem embodies the purpose or objective of your study. Your research problem actually represents the purpose or objective of your study. Okay. Wish you all the best.